There are 5 hidden signals that prove he wants you badly but is fighting his feelings. And I'm going to tell you something that sounds completely backwards. The guy showing you these signals, he's probably acting colder towards you than any other guy in your life right now. The one who seems the most distant is actually the one who wants you the most. The one pulling away, acting like he doesn't care, making you feel absolutely insane with his mixed signals. That's the guy who's falling hard and completely freaking out about it. I know you think that makes 0 sense, because if he really wants me, why wouldn't he just show it? Why would he pull away? Why all the confusion? Here's the truth. The stronger his feelings get, the weirder his behavior becomes. And most women see this happening and assume he's just not interested. They walk away from a guy who actually wants them more than anyone else. They completely miss what's really going on. Stay with me, because what I'm about to break down will change how you read men forever. I'm going to show you the 5 specific signals that prove he's fighting his feelings for you, the little things he does that give away everything he's trying to hide, and that one thing he does that sounds like rejection, but is actually the biggest sign he's into you. Because once you understand this, you stop second-guessing everything. You stop feeling confused and crazy. You start seeing what's really happening behind all those mixed signals. This isn't about playing games. This is about understanding how men actually work when they catch real feelings, the kind of feelings that scare them. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what to do when a man is fighting what he feels for you. The one move that makes him finally stop running and admit what's been there all along. But first, we need to talk about why these feelings terrify him so much. And fair warning, the real reason might actually make you mad, because it has absolutely nothing to do with you. So why do men fight their feelings like this? Why does liking you turn into this whole weird push and pull thing? Here's what's going on. When a man develops strong feelings fast, something kicks in that most women don't know about. His brain starts treating you like a threat. Not a physical threat, an emotional one. Because deep down, he knows that if he lets himself fully want you, you have the power to completely destroy him. Think about it this way. Have you ever wanted something so badly that you were almost afraid to get it? Because if you finally got it and then lost it, the pain would be unbearable. That's exactly what's playing out in his mind right now. The more he likes you, the more his brain panics. It's like his mind is running this automatic program. If I don't let myself fully want her, I can't get hurt. If I keep my distance, I stay safe. If I act like I don't care, maybe these feelings will just go away. But feelings don't work like that. They don't disappear because you try to ignore them. They get stronger, they build up, and eventually they start leaking out in ways he can't control. And that's when the signals start showing up. The cracks in his wall, the moments where he can't hide what he's really feeling. But here's the thing. Most women see these signals and think they mean the exact opposite of what they actually mean. So let's break down the 5 hidden signals. And I'm telling you right now, number 3 is going to shock you. You've probably been reading it as rejection this whole time. Before we get into it, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now, because what I'm about to tell you in signal number 3 is so counterintuitive, you might think I'm making it up. But once you see it in action, you'll never misread a guy again. All right, here we go. Signal number 1. He's super inconsistent with his attention, but there's always a pattern to it. One day he's texting you constantly, sending you funny stuff, asking about your day, really engaged. The next day, nothing, one-word answers, suddenly too busy to talk, acts like you barely exist. This isn't him playing games. This isn't him being flaky. This is him fighting a war inside his own head. Every time he lets himself get close to you, fear rushes in and makes him pull back. But here's what you need to watch for. When does he pull away? Does it happen every time you have a really good conversation? Every time things feel too real? Every time you actually connect on a deeper level? That's not random. That's his panic button going off. And here's the part that'll blow your mind. The better things go between you, the harder he pulls away afterward. If you had an amazing date and he suddenly goes cold for days, that's not rejection. That's him freaking out about how much he actually liked being with you. Think about what this looks like in real life. You spend hours talking one night. He's opening up. You're laughing together. The conversation flows naturally. Everything feels easy and right. Then the next morning, nothing. He doesn't text first. When you reach out, his responses are short. Cold even, like the night before never happened. Your first thought is probably that you said something wrong, that you misread the whole that he realized he's not actually interested, but that's not what's happening at all. What's actually happening is that he woke up replaying that conversation in his mind, realizing how much he enjoyed it, how easy it was to talk to you, how much he actually opened up, and that scared the hell out of him, so he pulls back to protect himself, to create distance, to convince himself it wasn't that big of a deal. But he always comes back. Maybe after a day, maybe after a few days, but he can't stay away because those feelings won't let him. Watch the pattern. Good connection equals sudden distance. Then he comes back. That cycle, that's him fighting what he feels. The more consistent that pattern is, the more likely it is that his feelings are real and intense. Because if he truly didn't care, there wouldn't be a pattern at all. He'd just be consistently distant or consistently engaged. The back and forth is the fight. And here's something else to watch for within this pattern. Notice how he comes back. Does he act like nothing happened? Does he make a joke about disappearing? Does he have some excuse about being busy? That's him trying to protect his ego while also trying to reconnect with you. He wants to come back, but he doesn't want to admit why he left in the first place. Signal number 2, his body language is all over the place when he's around you. Pay attention to how he acts physically when you're together. He's fidgeting constantly, messing with his phone, can't seem to get comfortable. His body is literally torn between wanting to get closer to you and trying to protect itself. He might stand really close to you 1 second, then suddenly step back. He might touch your arm when he's laughing, then immediately create space again. But there's one specific thing that gives everything away. Watch his hands. If he runs his hand through his hair or rubs the back of his neck when he's talking to you, that's a huge tell. It's an unconscious sign that he's nervous, that he's feeling something he's trying to control. And here's another big one. Notice if he positions his body toward you even when he's not looking at you. Like his whole body is facing you even though he's pretending to look at his phone or talk to someone else. That's his subconscious mind showing you exactly what his conscious mind is trying to hide. When a guy is fighting feelings for you, his body always tells the truth even when his words don't. Here's what makes this signal so powerful. You can lie with words, you can control what you say. But body language, that's almost impossible to fake consistently. His body will always betray what he's really feeling. Watch for the small things. Does he lean in when you talk even though he's trying to act casual? Does he mirror your movements without realizing it? If you cross your arms, does he cross his a few seconds later? If you lean back, does he do the same? Mirroring is one of the strongest signs of attraction. It's completely unconscious. When we're drawn to someone, our bodies naturally try to match theirs. So if he's mirroring you while also trying to act like he doesn't care, that's the battle happening in real time. His body wants to connect. His mind is fighting it. Also pay attention to where his feet are pointing. This sounds weird, but it's incredibly accurate. People's feet naturally point toward what they're interested in. So even if he's talking to someone else or looking at his phone, check where his feet are aimed. If they are pointed at you, that's where his real attention is. And watch his eyes, not just whether he's making eye contact, but what happens when he does. Does he hold your gaze a little too long, then quickly look away? Does he seem like he's forcing himself not to look at you? These are signs he's hyper aware of you and trying to control it. Signal number 3. And this is the one that sounds completely backwards. He gets meaner the more he likes you. I'm not talking about him being actually mean or cruel. I'm talking about more teasing, more sarcasm, more playful insults. He makes fun of you more than he makes fun of anyone else. Here's why this happens. When someone feels something they don't want to feel, they often do the exact opposite. It's safer to tease you and keep things light than to be vulnerable and admit how he really feels. So he'll roast you constantly, make jokes at your expense, act like nothing you do impresses him, roll his eyes when you talk, challenge everything you say. And here's the real tell. The sharper his comments are, the more likely it is that he's fighting hard against what he feels. Because creating distance through humor feels way safer than letting you see that he actually cares. But watch what happens when you're real with him first. When you share something vulnerable or deep, his whole tone shifts. The jokes stop. The sarcasm disappears. And for just a second, you see the softer side he's been hiding. That shift right there. That's the real him breaking through. Everything else is just armor. Most women see the teasing and think he sees them as just a friend. Or worse, that he doesn't respect them. But if he's teasing you way more than he teases other women, that's actually proof you matter to him more. Here's how to tell the difference between friendly teasing and this kind of teasing. Pay attention to his eyes and his smile when he's making fun of you. Is there warmth there? Is he watching your reaction closely? Does he seem to care whether you laugh or not? If yes, that's not dismissive teasing. That's him trying to get your attention and connect with you in the only way that feels safe right now. Also notice if he ever crosses the line and then immediately backs off. Like if he makes a joke that lands wrong and you can see him register it on his face. That moment of concern, that's him showing that your feelings actually matter to him. He's trying to play it cool, but he can't stand the thought of actually hurting you. And here's another layer to this. The teasing often increases when other guys are around. If he's more sarcastic or playful with you in group settings, that's him trying to get your attention without being obvious about it. He can't just openly flirt with you in front of everyone because that would expose how he feels. So he teases instead. It gives him a reason to interact with you and focus on you without making it obvious. Signal number 4, he remembers everything about you. And I mean everything. That random story you told 2 weeks ago about something that happened at work. He brings it up out of nowhere. That food you mentioned once that you hate. He remembers when you're ordering together. That thing you're working toward. He asks how it's going. Here's what's really happening. When we're attracted to someone, our brain pays extreme attention to everything they say. It's automatic. He's not trying to remember all these little details. His brain is just recording them because you matter to him. When a guy is fighting feelings for you, he's hyper-focused on everything about you. Because even though he's trying not to care, he can't help him see it. And this next part is so specific. If he remembers tiny details about things you care about, things most people wouldn't even notice or remember, that's him showing you that you're constantly on his mind. He'll bring up something you said weeks ago like it was yesterday. He'll reference inside jokes that barely even count as jokes. He'll know your schedule without you telling him. That's not just being a good listener. That's his brain being obsessed with you while he's trying to pretend he's not. Think about how rare this actually is. Most people barely remember what you told them yesterday, let alone weeks ago. But this guy, he's filing away every detail. He remembers that you said you had a meeting on Tuesday. He remembers that you don't like mushrooms. He remembers that your mom's birthday is coming up. He remembers the name of your childhood dog. These aren't things you made a big deal about. These are throwaway comments. Little details that came up naturally in conversation, but he caught them, he stored them, and he brings them back up at random times. Here's why this matters so much. You can't fake this. You can't force yourself to remember details about someone unless you're genuinely interested in them. Your brain automatically filters out information it deems unimportant. So if his brain is holding on to everything you say, that means his brain has decided that everything about you is important. And watch for this. Does he remember things differently than other people? Like most people might remember the main point of your story, but he remembers the small detail you mentioned in passing. That's next level attention. That's someone who's hanging on your every word, even when they're trying to act casual. Also, notice if he remembers things you care about and then does something with that information. Like if you mentioned you love a certain type of coffee and he randomly shows up with it one day. Or if you said you've been wanting to see a certain movie and he suggests watching it. That's him paying attention and then acting on it. That's him showing he cares through actions instead of words, because words feel too vulnerable. Signal number 5. He acts noticeably different around you than he does with everyone else. You've seen him with his friends. He's relaxed, funny, completely himself. But with you, there's this tension, this weird energy that's always there. He's more aware of himself around you. He adjusts his clothes more, checks his appearance, seems like he's thinking about every word before he says it. That's not awkwardness. That's attraction he's desperately trying to keep under control. But here's the biggest tell of all. Watch how he reacts when you mention other guys. Even casually, his whole energy shifts. He gets quiet or suddenly makes a joke about it or asks questions that seem casual but aren't. If he's trying to act like he doesn't care, but his face or tone changes the second you bring up another guy, you have your answer. That's jealousy he's trying to hide. When a man is fighting his feelings for you, he can't fully hide how much it bothers him when he thinks about you with someone else, even if he pretends it doesn't matter. Here's what this looks like in practice. You mention going out with your girlfriends and he's fine, totally normal. But the second you mention that a guy was there or that you talk to a guy, something shifts. Maybe he goes quiet for a second. Maybe he makes some comment about the guy. Maybe he asks more questions than he needs to. That's him trying to figure out if this other guy is a threat. And here's the thing. He has no right to be jealous. You're not together. He hasn't made a move. But that doesn't matter to his emotions. The thought of you with someone else triggers something in him that he can't control. And that reaction, that's proof of how much he actually cares. Also, watch how he acts when other guys are around you. Does he position himself near you? Does he find reasons to join the conversation? Does he subtly try to show off or be funnier or more impressive? That's competitive behavior. That's him feeling threatened and trying to prove he's the better option without actually saying it. Now, here's where most women completely mess this up. They see these signals and make one of two massive mistakes. What to do when he's fighting his feelings. This is where everything can fall apart if you don't handle it right. Most women either push way too hard for answers or they give up completely and walk away. Both moves are wrong, but one is way more deadly than the other. If you push him for clarity right now, if you ask, what are we, or do you like me? If you put your feelings out there hoping he'll do the same, you'll trigger his fear so hard that he'll likely disappear completely. I know that sounds harsh, but when a man is fighting his feelings this intensely, you cannot force him to admit them. You can't logic him into confessing. You can't overwhelm him with attention and expect his walls to come down. But you also can't just walk away and hope he figures it out. Because he won't. He'll convince himself he was right to keep his guard up, that those feelings weren't real, that he dodged something. So what do you actually do? You create safety, but not in the obvious way. Here's what actually works, and it's so simple that most women completely miss it. Be steady when he's all over the place. Don't match his hot and cold behavior. Don't chase when he pulls away. Don't go cold when he goes cold. Stay calm, stay grounded. Show him through your actions that you're not going anywhere, but you're also not desperate. You're just there, solid, steady, totally unfazed by his back and forth. This does something powerful to his brain. It proves that his biggest fears aren't real, that you're not going to hurt him, that maybe it's actually safe to let his guard down. Think about what his fear actually is. He's afraid that if he lets himself fully like you, you'll leave, or you'll reject him, or you'll change your mind, or you'll hurt him somehow. So when you stay consistent, regardless of his behavior, you're showing him that his fear is wrong. You're proving through your actions that you're not going anywhere, that you're safe. But here's the key ingredient most women never use. Give him space, then come back with something that adds value. Don't crowd him. Don't text him constantly asking why he's being weird. Don't demand to know what's going on. Just let him breathe. The more pressure you put on him, the harder he'll resist. But here's the important part. When you give space, don't go completely silent. Come back with something light, something funny, something that made you think of him, something that adds to his life instead of demanding from it. This creates a pattern in his mind. When she's around, life feels better. When she's not, I actually miss that. Here's what this looks like practically. He pulls back. Instead of freaking out or demanding answers, you just let him have his space. You don't chase. You don't double text. You just live your life. Then a day or two later, you reach out with something simple, a funny video, a meme that reminded you of an inside joke, something he mentioned he was interested in. You're not asking for anything. You're not bringing up the distance. You're just adding something positive to his day. This is so powerful because it shows him that you're not needy or clingy. You're not sitting around waiting for him, but you're also not playing games or trying to punish him with silence. You're just being a positive presence in his life without any pressure attached. Be vulnerable first, but do it strategically. Share something real about yourself, not insecurities, not neediness, something that shows depth, a fear you're facing, a goal you're working on, something meaningful. When you show him that being vulnerable doesn't mean being weak, he starts feeling safe enough to be vulnerable too, and that's when his walls start coming down for real. Here's the key to vulnerability. It needs to be authentic, but not heavy. You're not trauma dumping. You're not making him your therapist. You're just letting him see a real side of you, something beyond the surface. This does two things. First, it shows him that you trust him enough to be real. Second, it gives him permission to be real too. Most people are scared to be vulnerable first, but when someone else does it, it creates this opening, this space where suddenly it feels safe to share real things. Don't react to his tests because he will test you. He'll pull back to see if you'll chase. He'll act indifferent to see if you'll get needy. He'll mention other women to see if you'll get jealous. Pass every test by staying completely calm, not cold, not distant, just centered in your own worth. When he sees that you don't need his validation to feel good about yourself, something major shifts. The power dynamic flips, and suddenly he's the one worried he might lose you. Here's what most women don't realize. These tests aren't conscious. He's not sitting there planning them out. They're coming from his insecurity. He's testing to see if you're going to act like other women from his past. He's testing to see if his fears are valid. Every time you pass a test, by not reacting the way he expects, you're breaking down his walls a little more. And here's the most important piece. Live your life fully, whether he's in it or not. When he sees that you're not sitting around waiting for him to figure out his feelings, when he watches you thriving on your own, something changes in his mind. The fear of losing you becomes bigger than his fear of getting close. And that's when he stops fighting completely. The truth is, men aren't complicated. They're just scared of getting hurt, scared of being vulnerable, scared of wanting something so much that losing it would break them. And when you understand that, when you see his weird behavior for what it really is, everything makes sense. The pulling away isn't rejection, it's protection. The teasing isn't disrespect, it's deflection. The inconsistency isn't confusion, it's conflict between what he wants and what he's afraid of. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing these patterns everywhere. In the way he looks at you when he thinks you're not watching, in the way his voice changes when he talks to you versus when he talks to other people, in the tiny moments where his guard drops and you see what's really there underneath all the walls. This is how you stop feeling crazy. This is how you stop second guessing everything. This is how you finally see the truth behind the confusion. And this is how You give him the space to finally stop fighting and start being real about what he feels. If this hit home for you, drop a comment below with the word yes, so I know you really get this. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, because next week I'm revealing the exact words to say when he finally stops fighting and admits how he really feels. You definitely don't want to miss that.